A three-day summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation opened in Beijing today. President Xi Jinping announced the elevation of China's bilateral relationship with African nations to a strategic level. He said China will offer 360 billion yuan in financial assistance and stand ready to work with Africa to implement 10 partnership action plans to advance modernization. Sukura Ip reports from Beijing.
The opening ceremony of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, which is celebrating its 24th anniversary this year, took place at the Great Hall of People this morning. President Xi Jinping welcomed leaders from more than 50 African nations. In his keynote speech, Xi said China-Africa relations are at their best in history, thanks to 70 years of tireless efforts from all the parties concerned. He proposed that bilateral relations between China and all African countries having diplomatic ties with Beijing be elevated to the level of strategic relations. He also called for elevating the overall China-Africa relations to an all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future for the new era. The theme of this year's summit is joining hands to advance modernization and build high-level China-Africa communities with a shared future. Xi noted that China and Africa account for 1/3 of the world population. He said, without our modernization, there will be no global modernization. He added that in the next 3 years, China will work with Africa to implement 10 partnership action plans to deepen cooperation and spearhead the global South modernization. The action plans cover such areas as infrastructure, health, green development, agriculture, livelihoods, cooperation in industrial chains, common security and trade. China will also open its market wider by giving zero-tariff treatment to all taxable imports from the world's least developed countries that have diplomatic ties with China, including 33 African nations. This has made China the first major economy to take such a step. To implement those action plans, the Chinese government will provide 360 billion yuan in financial assistance over the next 3 years. President Xi also said the third plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China has laid out a systematic plan for further reform to advance China's modernization. It also provides new opportunities and driving forces for African countries and for China and Africa's joint pursuit of modernization. Sukura Ip, TVB News, Beijing.